Ordinary people with a godly purpose, let's talk. Hey everyone, we are back for the new year. This is Rodney.
And Dawn.
Oh boy, and this is Let's Talk. Let's Talk. Straight Dawn, say that again.
Let's talk.
Hey.
I want to talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
I know you guys want to talk about it. So meet us on YouTube each week on Thursday because we have a host of things that we want to talk about, topics to kind of move us and catapult us into the new year and to carry us through. But we can't do that without having a conversation, because when we have a conversation, clarity becomes the feast of the table. And when we have clarity, we can digest what we need to do so we can move correctly in the earth. That is not an easy task, but I think together, talking about it, we can do this. I'm game. I hope you are too.
And you know what, Dawn? I just want to piggyback off of everything you're saying there, because Ordinary People Let's Talk is exactly what it is. Ordinary people. Me and you, ordinary people. Let's talk.
Ordinary people.
Ordinary people.
Ordinary people.
And we want each and every one of you. That's right.
Yep. We're regular people. We're regular people with a purpose that God has planted in us to share with other people. We're not for everybody, and that's okay. That's why we live in a democracy. But we're for somebody, and the people that we are for, we are here. We are here because we want to see a move of God. And the only way we can do that is us dissecting what is God saying to us right now. How do we navigate through life with all of these challenges and still participate and collaborate with what God is requiring of us? Sometimes we need help breaking that down. Sometimes we need to have a conversation about it so we can see and move correctly. And the only way we can do that is by developing platforms like this. So I'm ready to talk. You know me, I can talk all day.
Okay, Dawn, you're talking enough. This is Ordinary People. Ordinary People with a godly purpose. We'll see you on Thursday. Let's talk. Dawn is talking. Dawn, I keep telling you about talking. You talk so much, girl. What am I going to do with you? Ordinary People with godly purpose. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.
But what happens after all that?
Well, that's when the breakdown come in, and that's where the disconnect. So you got so many broken relationships because of assumption.
Yeah, and you know what happens when we assume.
Yeah, and people have assumptions, the poorest form of information, and people are always assuming because we got the spirit of offenses influxing the earth. And people's perspective is not this perspective that God had in mind. And until we start thinking like God, then we're not going to be able to view things correctly, because we're going to view it based on our traumas, whether they're big or small.
And that trauma comes in twofold, you know, because as we go down that rabbit hole, if I can say that, like the Matrix, we go down that rabbit hole and we take that red pill, then we start seeing reality. And what reality brings to us is another question. So
it's another question. I was just telling my girlfriend, I said, no matter what we get, you know, we can pray and say, oh God, can you help me with da 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 da? And no matter what we get, it's never enough. You know what I mean? And
why is that? Why is that, Dawn? Why is that?
Huh?
Why is that?
Because
why is that being human beings? Why is it all we always want, but when it comes to the body of Christ, we don't never want to give?
That's because the thing is that until we turn our hearts and minds completely toward what God requires to do, that's why I say if your behavior, your thoughts, or whatever else, this is how we can measure ourselves. If what I'm thinking and what I'm doing don't mirror the gospel, I'm a liar. It's not true. I'm not authentic. Nobody got to tell me that. That's just what it is. My thoughts have to align with the gospel. If they're not aligning with the gospel, then I'm wrong. Point blank. And until we start thinking like that, so we can check ourselves when our thoughts are against what the word says, then we won't have the eye or the mind or the perspective of Christ.
That's true.
You have to be intentional. You have to train yourself to do that. You can't just get like that overnight. Paul didn't get to where he was overnight. He had to travel through some stuff. First, he had to kill the very thing he was supporting. He had to go through some stuff to get to that space, but he had to be intentional about his relationship after Damascus. But before he even got on Damascus, somebody had to put him on a road called straight. He had to go through all these processes before he can get to the mind of Christ and what God was saying when his word, what he had in mind concerning us about these things that people think that's way over our heads. It is over our heads because it's our rationale. It's not God. And so it's the only way that I'm going to get God's intellectual properties is that I got to study what he's talking about. Now, after I study it, it has to become me. Like when we studying for a test, we can study for memorization, or we can study for it to stay inside of us so we can use it as tools to help us along the way.
And those tools in your toolbox, we talked about that toolbox before, and it just gives us more in our toolbox as we continue on with our different walks. But I wanna try to change things up a little, and I want you to give me some feedback in reference to what's happening to our young people. Why is the suicide rate during the pandemic amongst young people have gotten so out of control, and where is our parents? Why are our parents are not seeing these things and pampering the cause of the I guess you want to put a blind ear to it, or deaf ear to it. The suicide rate, the last I checked, amongst people under the age, under the age of 15 to 9, has gone up to 89% during the pandemic. They're saying a lot of that's due to kids weren't being able to go into church. They're being abused at home. They weren't able to see their friends. Where did we get the disconnect on all that, Dawn? Or did we miss the void?
The disconnect came, Jacob, a long time ago. Our generation dropped the ball because we didn't give our kids what we had. What we didn't have. I mean, we always want to give them what we didn't have, right?
Say that again.
So it is that we overcompensated things and took away things that was lasting, right? So we took away God. We gave that an option for them. You know, our parents didn't give us no option. That made us fear something bigger than us. Whereas this generation don't fear nothing. We took away their ability to learn, to figure things out by giving them everything. So if you keep setting somebody up to not be able to look and see and figure things out, when it's time for them to figure it out, they're not going to be able to do it. So then what's going to happen is it's overwhelming. And because that's become a trend now about just ending it all, not understanding that in their brains, they don't see the ramifications of when I take that stance. It's a trend, and it's the lack of coping mechanisms because they was not equipped to deal with those stresses because we never gave them an opportunity to do it. We always fixed it. Our parents didn't do that for us. They didn't go out here and buy us everything we wanted. We had to go outside and use our imagination. So if we wanted to slip and slide, we got a garbage bag and a water hose, and we figured it out, and we had fun, and we were okay.
Hold on, say it again. Say that again.
We had a garbage bag and a water hose, and we was out there sliding. And we had a ball, and we didn't get mad at our parents because they didn't give us what we wanted.
You know
what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do, because I remember a time where I wanted roller skates, and I got roller skates, but the end thing was having a skateboard. So I cut the roller skate shoe part off and nailed the skate part to a board, and that was my skateboard.
But listen, this is what it did to us. Just like slavery, we got to try to find the roses even in the things that's not so happy for us. Slavery taught us so many things. It taught us at any race, we have learned how to persevere. We have learned how to work with what's in our hands, and we got innovation because of slavery. We had to figure things out and not stop because we don't have it. That's not an option. We still got to figure it out. I remember my friend, one time she said, you know, they were struggling and stuff like that. Her husband said, they ain't had no money for no Christmas tree. He went out in the woods and he chopped one down and brought it home. You know what I mean? That's not having no money ain't no option. We still gonna have a tree.
Right.
And he went out there and he got what his family needed. We don't do that now. But now the people say, well, if it ain't easy for me, like you tell the kids, go in there and find me something. If it ain't in their face, they say it ain't there.
That's right.
You know, nowadays these young men or whatever else, if it ain't easy for them, they just say they can't do it. Well, is that gonna feed your kid? No. But we're not teaching them responsibility. You don't get to check out because you don't have what you need. You need to figure out how you're gonna make it happen.
And that's where the disconnect comes into. We've been talking about disconnects.
Come home.
Yeah.
Because you figure our fathers, you know what I'm saying, those were men, they went out and they provided for their family. Now, they might not do the other stuff, you know, all the way like they should because, you know, you can't have everything. But as far as the principle, as far as what God says,
he said, can't have everything. Can't have everything.
You can't have everything. So it's like one extreme. This generation, we more conversational and showing our emotions and our vulnerability. Whereas back then, them men didn't do that. They just went to work, took care of what they need to take care of, and left everything else up to mama.
And mama took care of it.
But the fact is, it was more parents, both parents in the home. You know what I'm saying? There was more of a village mentality back then. Even the family dynamics, even if the father wasn't there or whatever, you had aunts, grandmas, and everybody else participating and helping the children evolve because it does take a whole village. Parents are not the only thing for children to grow healthy. It takes that's why you have a family. Everybody plays a part. So like, for instance, my sister, I'm gonna use her for example. She's my kid's aunt. I'm her kid's aunt. So the thing is, there's certain things that she don't do that I do. So they ain't missing nothing because they getting it all across the board. That's what makes them whole because they have a whole village supporting them. We don't have that now. Everybody just want to take care of theirs and that's it. Or you want to fall out over some stupid stuff, so then you cut off the things that the kids can get because you stuck in your feelings. See, if I me and my sister fall out, that ain't got nothing to do with my nieces and nephews. I still charge as an auntie to be an auntie to them until she says something else different. But my relationship with my sister ain't got nothing to do with my relationship with my niece and nephew.
And that's vice versa because you know,
right.
I've seen where, you know, the kids have fallen out with the parents and, you know, but they still call the, you know, the aunt and the uncles, and then they turn around and then that sister or that brother says, well, you don't need to talk to them because I'm not talking to them. So you see that twofold.
This is what we have to teach. This is the maturity part and everything else. That, you know, you can't be so emotional driven that you don't understand that your emotions could be a detriment to somebody else. Right? So now you got your kids empty and missing a piece of their life because it was taken away because you was in your feeling.
And that feeling takes you down another hole.
Yeah, so when you become a parent, and there's no rule book to this, it's just that even when we don't get it, when we realize it or we hear it and everything else, that promotes us to change how we do things. And as long as we live it, I don't care if your kid's grown or not, you still can change it. And the thing is that if we cut off our kids' lifeline, then we got to question our parentage. Because I don't get the right to cut off connections for my children because I ain't connected to those connections.
Well, I'm gonna cut you off right there. I like that segment right there. I'm gonna cut you off right there. And Ordinary People, the Godly Purpose. Let's talk. Rodney and Dawn, we are back in the new year, and this is not just a new year. I know you've been missing us. I know Dawn's been missing us. And I know Dawn's been missing me because I've been missing her.
Yeah, I've been missing you, and I didn't know you was getting me.
So I got you there. But this is just a interlude to a plethora of shows to come. Ordinary People with a Godly Purpose. Let's talk. Rodney and Dawn, we're back in the new year. 2022 is alive, well, and most of all, we are here to stay. We'll talk to you on the other side. Ordinary People with a Godly Purpose. Let's talk. Hey everyone, we are back for the new year. This is Rodney.
And Dawn.
Oh boy, and this is Let's Talk. Let's Talk. Straight Dawn, say that again.
Let's talk.
Hey,
I want to talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
I know you guys want to talk about it. So meet us on YouTube each week on Thursday, because we have a host of things that we want to talk about, topics to kind of move us and catapult us into the new year and to carry us through. But we can't do that without having a conversation, because when we have a conversation, clarity becomes the feast of the table. And when we have clarity, we can digest what we need to do so we can move correctly in the earth. That is not an easy task, but I think together, talking about it, we can do this. I'm game. I hope you are too.
And you know what, Dawn? I just want to piggyback off of everything you're saying there, because Ordinary People Let's Talk is exactly what it is. Ordinary people. Me and you, ordinary people. Let's talk.
Ordinary people.
Ordinary people.
Ordinary people.
And we want each and every one of you. That's right.
Yep. We're regular people. We're regular people with a purpose that God has planted in us to share with other people. We're not for everybody, and that's okay. That's why we live in a democracy. But we're for somebody, and the people that we are for, we are here. We are here because we want to see a move of God. And the only way we can do that is us dissecting what is God saying to us right now. How do we navigate through life with all of these challenges and still participate and collaborate with what God is requiring of us? Sometimes we need help breaking that down. Sometimes we need to have a conversation about it so we can see and move correctly. And the only way we can do that is by developing platforms like this. So I'm ready to talk. You know me, I can talk all day.
Okay, Dawn, you're talking enough. This is Ordinary People. Ordinary People with a Godly Purpose. We'll see you on Thursday. Let's talk. Dawn is talking. Dawn, I keep telling you about talking. You talk so much, girl. What am I going to do with you? Ordinary People with Godly Purpose. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.